Where the footprints of man fade, the realm of mysterious creatures and unsolved riddles begins. To this day, no one knows what unimaginable things really lie dormant in the heart of the rainforest. However, the incredible jungle finds we're about to show you gives us a taste of all the secrets that might be better left hidden forever. From bizarre structures to a full-grown whale that appeared in the middle of the rainforest, do you dare to get to know the true face of the jungle? The jungle whale. Jaguars, anacondas, caimans. No other jungle has as much biodiversity as the Amazon rainforest. And although 1 in 10 known species in the Americas is at home in the Amazon forest, we know that even the greatest biodiversity has its limits. Accordingly, there are animals that we would never expect to find in the rainforest under any circumstances. Humpback whales, for example. Usually the giants, which can reach up to 15 meters in length, are found near the ocean coasts. And yet, in February 2019, a photograph went around the world that left even the most experienced experts completely baffled. It shows the lifeless body of a young humpback whale, but the animal was not washed up on the beach, but was surrounded by sprouting plants. But how is that even possible? How can a whale get into the jungle? It is certain that the carcass was found on the Brazilian island of Marajo in a mangrove forest. Furthermore, the investigation revealed that the 8-meter-long juvenile had been dead for several days at the time of its discovery. At an age of about 1 year and weighing 10 tons, the animal was located about 15 meters from the riverbank. While we were mainly wondering what a humpback whale was doing in the rainforest, biologists were asking themselves a completely different question. What was a humpback whale doing off the north coast of Brazil in February in the first place? Regarding the bizarre find, researchers assume that the maritime mammal entered the Amazon estuary already dead and was subsequently washed into the mangrove forest by the tide. In addition, it is certain that thousands of humpback whales winter off the north coast of Brazil to give birth to their offspring, among other things. However, they migrate to Antarctic waters for the summer, which in the southern hemisphere means from December to February. By all appearances, the calf was traveling alone in the Amazon, which in and of itself is not unusual as the young often separate from the group at this age. It is most likely that the whale ultimately got lost and died. The spider Stonehenge. In August 2013, Troy Alexander couldn't believe his eyes. While in the Nambopada National Reserve in Peru, a small, bizarre structure suddenly caught his eye. A tiny piece of silk in the middle of a circular pattern. A little tracking later, Troy had tracked down 3 more of these structures. But since he just couldn't figure out what this mini Stonehenge was at all, he posted a picture on Reddit. However, the hoped-for response was not forthcoming. No user had ever seen anything comparable. Appropriately named Silkhenge, the formations were later examined by a scientific team. The experts discovered that spiders hatched from the surreal structures. However, they were unable to decipher the exact species. On the one hand, this was due to the fact that the baby animals lack the characteristics that are used to identify adult spiders, and on the other hand, the fact that DNA tests also failed to produce conclusive results. Thus, the true creators of the spider towers, which are even surrounded by a kind of fence, still slumber in obscurity. The king of all spiders. Those who are already afraid of ordinary spiders must now be especially strong. Because in fact, the tropical rainforest is home to a true giant among creepy crawlies, aptly known as the giant or Goliath bird spider. With a maximum leg span of a whopping 30 centimeters, the spiders live in very humid areas where temperatures of 25 to 30 degrees and humidity of up to 95% prevail. In detail, we are dealing with a so-called bombardier spider. That is, the tarantula has special stinging hairs that it can shed and hurl at an attacker when threatened. And although the bite of the giant tarantula is certainly anything but pleasant, it is not life-threatening for humans, unless someone has an allergic reaction to the venom. Somewhat strange in our latitudes, among some indigenous peoples, the giant tarantula is even considered a distinct delicacy. In terms of taste, it is said to be reminiscent of lobsters or crabs. The giant snake. It was a work incident of a somewhat different kind. When some construction workers were carrying out a controlled blast for the erection of a dam in the Amazon region, the explosion revealed something that no one had expected. In detail, the men had unleashed a giant in the flesh, a colossal anaconda that, according to media reports, was 10 meters long and weighed 400 kilograms. On the photographs, which subsequently went around the world, the animal was no longer alive. It is unclear whether the anaconda died from the detonation or whether it was killed by the construction workers. On average, the imposing strangler snakes grow to a length of 3.7 meters and weigh 33 kilograms, but reliable data on their maximum length is scarce. Walking trees. Unbelievable, but true. For some time now, scientists have been engaged in a heated debate about whether there are trees that can run. Unlike Tolkien's Ents, however, we don't find these creatures in Middle-earth, but in the Amazon basin. Known as Socratia exoryza, the tree's location would shift as new roots grew, sometimes by 2 to 3 centimeters per day. However, while some researchers continue to doubt that the palm trees actually migrate, Peter Varaski claims to have observed the spectacle firsthand. In this regard, the Slovakian paleobiologist said, "When the soil erodes, the trees grow new, long roots that find new and firmer soil. Then, as the roots slowly settle into the new soil and the trunk gradually bends towards the new roots, the old roots are lifted into the air. Several years may pass before the tree is relocated to a new site with better sunlight and firmer soil." Rare Jaguar arundi. We all know jaguars, but have you ever heard of the jaguar arundi? This predatory cat, which looks remotely like a marten, lives in the tropics and subtropics of North and South America. Especially curious, although the jaguar arundi is comparatively common, it is one of the least researched predatory cats in the Americas. With a head-torso length of about 65 centimeters and a maximum weight of a good 9 kilos, the big cat is a rather dainty hunter. While the jaguar arundi mainly hunts rodents, rabbits, birds, and small reptiles, it comes in the color variants gray and red. For special sensation, therefore, a discovery caused, which was registered some months ago in Colombia. Here, surprisingly, a bright white young animal appeared. As Colombia's first albino jaguar arundi ever, the female was brought to a nearby reserve for medical care. For safety reasons, it will spend the rest of its life there. Due to their striking coloration, albinos can be spotted very easily by enemies and potential prey. Jesus Christ lizard. In the 14th chapter of the Gospel of Matthew we read, "But in the fourth watch of the night, Jesus came to them, walking on the sea." And did you know that the Son of God is by no means the only one who can walk on water? In fact, in detail, the Savior shares this ability with the basilisk. What is still a deadly giant snake in the world of Harry Potter is in reality a scaled lizard that lives in the tropical rainforests of South America. Also known as the Jesus Christ lizard, in reference to its unique abilities, the basilisk only walks on water in his everyday life, however, in absolutely exceptional cases. However, when it is time to flee from a ravenous snake, he seems to outsmart the law of physics. In detail, he succeeds in doing so because of his rapid speed. Because basically, the faster something hits the surface of the water, the firmer it becomes as a base. Anyone who's ever done a belly flop from a 5-meter board will be able to tell you a thing or two about that. The lizard makes this phenomenon its own by slapping its feet on the surface at a very high speed. Away from its waterways, the basilisk spends its days eating insects, snails, frogs, and fish, and reproducing. Indeed, females can lay eggs up to 8 times a year. The fake spider. Fooled. When some researchers were just in the Peruvian part of the Amazon rainforest, they initially thought they had discovered an ordinary spider. But wrong. Instead, they had fallen for the bizarre mock-up that the creepy crawly had made of itself. But what is this fake game all about? Why does the spider carry insect carcasses and jungle waste together to make a doppelganger? Even more puzzling, the Peruvian spider, which probably embodies a new species, is not the only spider sculptor. Another representative was tracked down on the Philippine islands of Negros. However, it is not yet clear what the exact background of this activity is. Experts suspect that the dummies are either used to attract prey or to ward off predators. And with that, thank you for watching our video all the way to the end. Please leave us a thumbs up and a subscription to support us for free and to keep us up to date at the same time. Why don't you also take a look at the other exciting videos of our channel, which we have linked for you in the credits. But now we need your opinion. What do you think about the whale that appeared in the jungle? And have you ever heard of a jaguar arundi before our article? We are looking forward to your comments.